more than 30 years experience in the industry. So thank you, Rabde sir, for accepting our invitation and be here for
My
this.
pleasure.
Okay. Now I request our HOD Dr. A.S. Vibhute sir to introduce today's speaker. Vibhute sir.
Yeah. Thank you, Matpati sir. So I welcome you all on behalf of Swiss College of Engineering, Pandharpur. So it's my privilege to introduce you to today's speaker, Mr. Vilas Purushottam Rabde. He is having a very vast experience in the industry, more than 49 years industrial experience, and he worked in a various capacity for Philips India Limited, BCC Component, Vishay Technologies, Cheda Electrical and Electronics Private Limited. So he has contributed for electrical and electronic maintenance with Philips India more than 25 years and built more than 50 SPMs for electronic components manufacturing at Philips India. He also worked with a sales and marketing manager with a Philips and BCC Component and Vishay Electronics for more than 11 years. He's having significant contribution in business development for two-wheeler automotive electronics and responsible for development of CDI film capacitor and its test facilities, as well as capacitive fan regulators. Presently, he's working as a consultant for Ajinkya D.Y. Patil University, Pune. He's also working as a secretary for Technology Transfer Association, Pune. He is a president of Ham Radio Club at Ajinkya Patil D.Y. University, Pune. He is an ex-consultant for the India Electronics and Semiconductor Association for creation of brownfield cluster in Pune and Aurangabad region. He was the ex-chairman of Electronics Subject Committee for MCCI Pune. He was the ex-director for the business development for Cheda Electricals and Electronics Private Limited. So such a eminent personality is with us, and he will be guiding us on SDR signal detection and flexible antenna development. So I welcome you, sir, for this today's session. So it's a pleasure you are with us. Thank you.
Thank you, Vibhute sir, for giving introduction of today's speaker. Now I request Vilas Rabde sir, please start the session.
Good morning, everybody, and
morning,
welcome
sir.
to Faculty Development Program. Today, I thought of sharing with you some of the live examples, and accordingly, I organized my presentation. Because classroom lectures and theoretical exchange of information you always have. But being an industry person, I always believing working with my own hands and creating something. And that is how I developed nearly 50 special purpose machines for component manufacturing, which gave me a lot of experience. Now, the faculty development program for wearable devices plays a vital role in human life now and our day-to-day industrial, day-to-day life, I can say. And today I'll be sharing with you two live examples. One is the patch that is developed for COVID by one of our Technology Transfer Association member. And second will be software-defined radio. I will be giving you a live demo. We could have given you a demo if this would have been in a classroom. We have created a video yesterday for this purpose and how to receive HF as well as VHF signal using that. As far as wearable devices is concerned, you have to have a patch as small as possible because it is a wearable or it goes on your body. But as far as receiver of the signal coming from this patch can be as big as your laptop size or even more, because there is no restriction on size, but definitely restriction on transmitter part of it. You are all aware. So one of our technology transfer member, Gautam More, has developed this patch and it is operational at Dinanath Mangeshkar Hospital in Pune. So with this, we will start my presentation. Let us have the first slide. Presentation
Akshay,
is not visible on the screen, sir. Please.
हाँ ओके अक्षय सर.
Yeah. If you see all the four corners of my slide, you will find some wearable devices being displayed and which part of the body they go. And I really appreciate the big campus of College of Engineering, Pandharpur. It looks to be from the photograph. Unfortunately, physically, I have not seen it, but looks to be a very good facility. And I always believe in learning any kind of a science or engineering by experiment. Theoretical knowledge you always can have through books or through listening to the lectures. But doing something with your own hands, that gives you 10 times knowledge that you learn in 1 hour on the blackboard. So my focus will be on a presentation which will teach you something, because I will be covering RFID presentation where you will find myths and reality about it, and which is not available anywhere in the books. This will be only available once you work practically. So I request all of you to watch my presentation very carefully. Let us make it interactive. Let us not restrict to the I am talking and you are all listening. We will have it more and more interactive session so that we can develop it. And when time permits, probably we can come to your college and give some live demos on antennas, standing wave ratio measurements, and all that. Because I believe less slides and more presentations. But here, being online, there are some restrictions. So the first slide, please. Next slide. Yeah. What is wearable device? You all are definitely aware, but we can touch upon the devices which can be connected wirelessly or by wire. But normally we talk of wireless. Wearable technology is any kind of electronic device designed to work on the user's body. Such devices can take many different forms, including jewelry. Even nowadays, the devices have come into the jewelry, accessories, medical devices, clothing, even in the cloth, you can embed this thing, the sensor. The term wearable computing implies processing or communication capabilities, but in the reality, the sophistication along wearable can vary. So you can see the photo in my slide. You can see the wristwatch which is connected to your mobile, your spectacle, and the exchange of information takes place. Next slide. Next slide, please, sir. Yeah. So what is wearable device? The most sophisticated examples of wearable device technology include artificial intelligence hearing aids. If you remember olden days, the hearing aids used to be analog, and people used to get irritated by wearing such hearing aids, and they used to give up because the surrounding noise used to be so high. Technologically, it was very difficult to remove such noise. But now the entry of digital hearing aids having artificial intelligence can do so, and you can hear a very clean and clear sound. This technology is utilized in one of the street in Switzerland, where the street light signals, there is a device microphone, receives the signal from the vehicles, noise from the vehicles, and in antiphase they transmit it. And the person standing on the road does not get any noise. And this is how the noise on the road is cancelled. So if you implement it in our country, you will find all silent roads. So digital technology and artificial intelligence can make this possible. This also applies to Microsoft's HoloLens and a holographic computer in the form of a VR headset. That you must have seen VR headset. You go enter into a reality. An example of a less complex form of wearable technology is disposable skin patch with sensors that transmit patient data wirelessly to a nearby control device. So this is the device we will be learning more with a video. Next slide. Next slide, please, sir. Yeah. So common examples they include smart jewelry such as rings, wristbands, watches, pins. Smaller devices typically work in coordination with a smartphone for display and interaction. Body-mounted sensors that monitor and transmit biological data for healthcare. So this is also we are going to watch in the video. Fitness trackers, often in the form of wristbands or straps that monitor things like physical activity and vital signs. Trackers may connect wirelessly to an application data storage, processing, and reporting. So you must have seen those who run in the morning. They always tell you, "I have burned so many calories today." So this has become a reality now, and people can precisely do their exercise to burn the calories, the required calories, you can say so. So in a shorter time or right kind of a time span, they can finish their exercise. They do not overdo it. They do not underdo it. Small clothing with built-in technology that can perform a variety of tests, including fitness or health monitoring. Interesting, interacting with phones and other devices and charging fabric characteristics to suit the user's performance, activity, or environment. So, in nutshell, you all are aware about this wearable devices, but I thought revisiting them. Next slide, please. Common examples will continue. Hearing aid that can filter out unwanted noise automatically, adapt for best performance in the user's current environment. Such devices sometimes referred to as hearable. We talk wearable, but they can be referred as hearable. Can also incorporate capabilities such as filtering, fitness tracking, audio streaming, and translation. Augmented reality, that is AR, headsets that integrate digital information into a display of the user's environment, and mixed reality, that is MR, heads that integrate physical reality and digital connect in a way that enables interaction with and among real worlds and virtual objects. VR headsets that you must have seen in exhibitions, because right now they're expensive and does not suit our pocket. Next. So now we are going to watch the video as well as some inputs on Life Patch. Last year, this was developed when COVID started. Of course, the development is underway, but the COVID-19 accelerated the development. A Pune-based startup. The inventor's name is Gautam More. So next slide, please. It's a company that he has formed. So he has registered his patch with trademarks and patents. So he received a patent number, you can see, on 11th April last year. And title of the device is a device for monitoring health status of the subject. Subject can be anything, human being or even animal. And the inventor is Gautam More. So we are quite proud that one of our members have applied for a patent for his invention, and it is being used in most of the hospitals in Pune. And right now, patient data has become a very, very convenient, because otherwise, if you suspect a COVID patient, either the ambulance has to come home and check him, test him, or the patient has to visit the hospital. No need. Just order the patch, put it on the chest of the patient, and all the data required for judging whether he is a COVID patient or not is enabled through this Bluetooth to your mobile phone, and mobile phone keep in touch with the hospital. It's a simple and time-saving, cost-saving device Gautam More, Pune-based Gautam More, have developed. Next. See the tiny device on your left hand, which is a Life Patch. Okay, it is a very compact 6.5 centimeter, 3.3 by 0.7 centimeter. It is just 25 grams. Battery is the device for powering it, and the life of the battery is 1 month. So 1 month is more than sufficient for capturing any human data. Very easy to use. Just peel the sticker cover and stick it to the chest. Medical grade equipment all components have medical grade approval, and hence it is safe for using. So friends, remember, anything you are doing or manufacturing in medical area, every component need approval and everything has to be approved. That's why medical implants and medical anything related to human body are very, very expensive, because they need a special material for that, and cost of the testing and certification is 4 times the material cost. Just remember, because approval costs are very high. That's why all the devices are very expensive. Say for example, pacemaker, the most expensive device that goes in close to your heart in your body, but the electronic cost may be few hundred or few thousand, but the testing, packaging, and hermetically sealing of the patch, that is pacemaker, is very, very high. So it is so accurate. You can measure temperature changes up to 0.1 degrees centigrade. Remember, measuring accuracy in 0.1 degrees centigrade is not that deep, that easy. You need a very, very precise sensor for it, and also electronic around. So even coughing events are also noted and sent to the data center. So activity ratio is also one of the parameters. Smart device connected to mobile app through Bluetooth. So this is such a simple device, but 100% useful. This is another multi-use and rechargeable device, an embedded real-time device, safe and accurate. It has an alert system. So it raises alert to the administrator if removed of the body. Sometimes patient get irritated and removes it. So immediately alert is given to the doctor. Study sturdy and water resistance. You can dip it into water, nothing will happen, because entire electronics is hermetically sealed, and it is reusable. Can be reused on a patient post sterilization process. Of course, it needs to be sterilized, and then you can use it for the next patient. So it is a lifelong device, can be used repeatedly on different patients. Filling of multiple design patents is underway for this technology what Gautam More has developed, and multi-layered encrypted security system ensuring privacy and controlled access to the user. So nobody will interfere this data which is going to from Bluetooth via Bluetooth to your mobile handset and to the hospital, because the every parameter measured is a very, very secret, or you can say it is a vital information, and that's how it has a very good safety and security, because no bug can enter, or no one can hijack it and give the wrong information, because it will diagnose wrongly. That's why a lot of safety precautions are taken while developing and design this device. And we are so proud, it is fully localized supply chain. 100% it is processed in one of the electronic manufacturing unit. 100% local development, or supplies are local, no need of depending on any imports. Of course, there are certain active devices which are not manufactured in the country, but they are stocked by many stockists in the country, and which are medical grade. Again, it undergoes a lot of incoming inspection for most of the devices. You all must be should be aware now. Anything that is used in defense or anything that is used in healthcare calls for a lot of approvals and pre assembly measures. Other pre incoming inspection is a must for each and every component that goes on the circuit board of a medical or defense electronics equipment. Next slide, please. Yeah, so this COVID-19 critical parameters monitoring by LifePatch. There are 3 versions it can do. Temperature, clinical grade measurement of body temperature, then fever onset, progression track in a real time, COVID-19 fever patient matched through ML. Coughing action detected through motion sensor, persistence and COVID-19 patient at an match by AI. That is artificial intelligence. Otherwise, human error can happen. If you leave it to the human, it can error. And once you have a library of data of COVID patients, it can always compare the what kind of patient he is and whether he is COVID positive or not. Immediately it can be sensed. And the moment you sense the person is non-COVID, immediately patch is removed and put it on the different sensor, and is given a certificate that you don't have any COVID. You can have your routine work. And geofencing, GPS-based tracking via mobile phone. If person breaks the set perimeter allowed for him, an auto alert will be raised at the control room. You know, all the patients, when they are admitted, they get fed up and try to run away. But this particular patch can monitor these people, and if they go to different geographic location, they are detected. So this is another advantage of locating the person. Live patch acts as a 24/7 wearable with minimal profile and maximum comfort. Skin patches enable precise device positioning and constant skin contact. Single change battery lasts for 30 days. So you can see, but of course it's a disposable battery, or you can also use chargeable battery in the same. Connects to mobile app on Bluetooth and further to cloud server. Besides the 3 parameters above, the patch can flag off the person in showing signs of the lower physical activity than usual. This can help to identify asymptomatic COVID-19 cases. So this is a perfectly designed and developed in Pune. And we will, next slide please, we will watch a small video. This is the last slide. Next slide please. Yeah, so you can see the various parameter that goes inside the patch. So you need a chemistry there. That is power source. Battery is a chemistry. Electronics, all the sensors are electronic. There is a Bluetooth technology implied for connecting to the mobile device. There is a telecom, that is wireless communication, that is happening. Mathematics, that is statistical modeling. Design, that is mechanical. Then ML and AI, that is computer science. So if you see whatever we learn from our first year of engineering, no subject is left as an option. You have to imply all the parameters in designing, developing any product. Product development is a very critical process. It calls for a lot of initial study and lot of efforts, making it, it's ergonomic, it's a shape, it's a aesthetic. So there are so many, the product development itself is a different subject, and it calls for a different department in any organization which designs and develops the product, because it has to be marketable. It also looks look good, and it should be 100% usable or reusable. So if you see the true convergence of multiple engineering disciplines, design patent underway. So this particular life patch has got a convergence of multiple engineering disciplines that one should not and one never forget. And this you may not have the in the routine syllabus or training, but such development, understanding such development is a really enjoyable job and learning job for all of you, so that whenever you will undergo any product development, such inputs are very, very essential. Next. Yeah, so they are installed at various geographical locations in and around Pune, and data is monitored at the center. So live portal with analysis is available. Next. So we have formal associates at University of Maryland Medical College, Dinanath Mangeshkar Hospital, Pune COVID-19 Task Force, Trichy Collectorate, Madurai Collectorate. We also have real-time quarantine management, alerts on allowed performer breach, providing e-diary for symptom recording, AI algorithm to match your consent pattern to COVID-19 characteristics, AI for the predict recovery time for symptoms, post-recovery risk analysis for duration of interfaces, create high-risk population subgroups by location. So many facilities have been incorporated at the receiver side of the signal and the processing of the data received from the patient. Next. So let us watch a video. Sir, please play the first video from the YouTube to understand. This will unfold how the COVID this patch comes in a package and how to install it and how to use it. Please watch this video very carefully, because when you will work on such project, you have to make this possible. So let's view the first video.
I'm now going to show you how to use the life patch device and apply it to your skin. So basically what you need for all of it is slight preparation. So you have the life patch with you, the stickers that are supplied with the box. You have to have some sanitizer at hand, and if required for males, you would need to have a trimmer at hand. What we have done is, we have the life patch with us here. Okay, you keep it flat on the ground. The sticker, you have to locate which part of the sticker goes correctly matches the holes and the openings provided there. Accordingly, you have to remove that side of the sticker, like I am doing here, and you have to place the sticker to match the openings. Once you do that, 50% of your job is done. Now we'll get to skin preparation. So normally you have to look at the collarbone, the clavicle as we call it, and see the flattest part of your chest and have a distance of about 2 fingers from the hole. Now if there are hair here, just use a trimmer and remove just clear the area. So you don't need to shave it, but you can. Then take some sanitizer and rub this area, so that you're preparing the skin for the first application. Okay, now till the skin dries up a bit, the alcohol rub remains a bit, what we do here is we start the patch. Now for starting the patch, you see the button here, take a pointed pen or a pin and turn the button from the right to the left. As soon as you do that and you have your app running here,
welcome, looking for a life patch device.
the app will try to scan, and immediately, because the sensor was turned on, you will see your life patch being showing up. You just need to say select, you say OK.
Starting the process.
Immediately at the bottom of the screen, it will be doing its handshakes to connect to the patch. In due course, in about 10-15 seconds, the orange light that you see here will become blue. Once that's done, we are on to part 2 of applying the patch. So once the section here has turned blue, it means that this app has successfully connected to the patch here. Now I'm just going to keep the app here, and I'm going to show you the rest of this. Of course, one more check is you can see the app showing the temperature, what is the battery status, and any other information that's there. So next what I do is I remove the sticker on the bottom side, okay, and now I am ready to just apply the patch. That's what I'm going to do now. With this end towards the inside, all I do is there's this patch here, and just ensure that all the sides are stuck firmly. That's it. The app is now up and running. This app will start getting my body temperature continually
Service is already running.
and will be sending it to the server. Once you are with the patch, you may remove it prior to your baths by just pulling it out and keeping it open. You don't need to turn the patch off in a dry air, and again put it, press it slightly, and you're on for the next part. So that's how you can keep reusing the patch. Once you feel that the adhesive for the sticker has worn off, you can just use another sticker. Thank you.
So friends, that was the patch developed in Pune, and Gautam has demonstrated you how to use it and put it on your chest, and the business starts. So such 6,000 patches are operational as on today in Pune, and more are under production. There's a big demand coming up from different locations of the country, and I'm sure we will have a good business opportunity for such patches. And really, a idea has been turned into a product, and now turned into the wealth generation. So any idea, any patent, any doctorate that you gain and earn need to be converted into a product or services, and should help the nation creating wealth. Remember, unfortunately, in our country, ideas are only born, PhDs are taken on certain subjects, but then nothing happens. So this is a message for all my friends. If you have done something, some PhD, try to make sure that it gets converted into product or services, and let the nation earn some money, because foreign exchange is a very rare commodity, and we have to import everything. This year our import of electronics will exceed petroleum import. That's the caution for everyone. So indigenous development is a must, and we are all must be proud of Gautam More, who has invented this import substitute, and it's really been accepted by most of the hospitals. Thank you. Let's move to the next part of wearable device, which is very common, that is RFID tags, and you all are aware of it. And you can see all the four corners various examples of RFID and wearable antennas also, or flexible antennas also. Antenna is a topic which I am not going to cover today, because these two examples, videos on SDR as well as this patch and presentation on RFID, will take away most of the time. So now we will be discussing most powerful, most demanding wearable device is RFID tags, and gaining popularity across the country, across the world. So let's start understanding radio frequency identification tags. Next slide, please. Yeah, so my presentation will cover in 4 parts. First is what is RFID technology. I will give brief introduction. Then we will discuss about some myths and reality on RFID technology. Main concerns in RFID implementation, and last will be RFID implementation and business process reengineering. So we will cover most of the area as far as RFID wearable technology is concerned, because RFID is gaining more popularity in the country now, and you all are aware about the road tax collection that happens on the road. So next slide, please. So RFID technology, if I briefly introduce, is a radio frequency identification, is a form of auto identification, that is auto ID technology that uses radio waves to exchange information. Second, RFID is faster method of collecting data without human intervention. And third is RFID, radio frequency identification, is a technology similar to barcode identification. We'll of course come across the comparison of barcode as well as RFID. Next, please. So this is the simple block diagram of road tax collection that you always face on the road. So there is a RFID patch stuck on your windshield, and when you come to the toll booth or toll naka, the antenna decodes and it processes and interfaces with the computer of the booth. Okay, and it is connected to your Paytm or bank account, and the toll is deducted from your bank account or Paytm account, and you get a alert signal that so much money is deducted from your bank account. So this is a method which looks simple but most complicated. And in India, it has just started from 1st January. This the tag is compulsory. Still, people are learning. Also, the toll collectors also learning. That's why, even though it is identified on RFID, they're still confirming that it's the same car. But very shortly, there will not be any barricades, and just your car will, once your car passes through the road and the toll naka, toll will be automatically deducted. So this is the first form of RFID, which in common man's life, which has entered effective 1st January 2021, which is compulsory and mandatory for all the car owners and truck owners, fleet owners. So this is really going to have save time of your long queues, proper collection of funds. Otherwise, there is a lot of malpractice, and sometimes you may be paying more or less. The government also will have correct recovery, how many vehicles have gone. So there will be total transparency in tax collection, and we may get tax-free atmosphere in stipulated time. Otherwise, you must have seen in the past that even though the predicted years have over, still they continue to collect the tax. So it will not happen in future. So there are a lot of advantages of this system. It is already proved across the globe, and now India is ready for accepting this RFID introduction for collection of toll on roads. So this is our first wearable device. Of course, in this case, our car is wearing this device, not the human being. But yes, it has started, and slowly it will come to our departmental stores and everywhere. Next slide, please. Next slide, please. Yeah. So these are some forms of RFID tags. You can see it could be in the keychain. It can be in the form of a card. It can be a small tablet. I don't know whether you are aware. Gilavdi, Chitale, Bandhu, they have a big animal, that is buffalo and cow garage, I can say. And every cow and buffalo, they have a RFID tag. And they always pass through when they go for milking. And they have a record now, which cow giving how much milk every day. And they have a full data of each and every cow, which are numbered. And that is how they predict how many liters they can collect next day, how many cows or buffaloes need to be milked. So this particular RFID tag, designed and developed by Philips India, that is my company, is in operation for the last 10 to 15 years. This, or rather more than that, it is in use. And if you go to all Chitale shops, outlets, you will find the RFID tag is given to you, and whatever you will purchase is collected, it is calculated, and you get the bill at the counter and you can collect your material. So I think in the retail market chain, Chitle Bandhu in Pune is the first shop who introduced such RFID tags, and slowly it is penetrating across the country. Next slide, please. RFID technology have four components basically: a transponder or a tag attached to the item, human being, it could be material, it could be buffalo, an antenna attached to the reader to read the text, a transceiver which reads the radio frequency, and middleware software sends the information where it needs to go. So these are the four parameters every RFID tag system will have and need to be remembered, because now probably you may have to introduce some projects for your students on RFID based technology, because most of the RFID tags as well as these receivers are available. Last week only I received a inquiry about cross country race, where there will be at least 600 students running in the group, and we have to identify first, second, third. The student also do, it is a 13-kilometer race, and students do a lot of malpractice. So in between also they try to find the shortcut and try to come first. So with the help of drone, they will be videographed. Okay, and wherever there are short cuts, sentries will be put, so not allow them to go through, and RFID tag for the identification. Otherwise, what they will do, they will give RFID to their friends, and the system will read that false people have come forward. So to avoid that, each and every tag will be identified at the beginning, and it will be a wearable. It will be embedded in their t-shirts, and that's why they cannot be exchanged, because a t-shirt with RFID tag will be definitely marked. So he cannot change the t-shirt and wear somebody else's, because the number and everything will change. So we are trying to make it foolproof, this particular project. And I'm sure with considering all the loopholes, we will be able to design the system for the cross-country race, which will take place sometime in April. So it's a Herculean task we have to perform and make sure that a trouble-free decision is made for the winners. Next slide, please. So RFID tag consists of microchip and coiled antenna. You must have seen in my first slide picture, there is a coiled antenna which can be used for receiving as well as transmitting the signal. Of course, as far as receiving part is concerned, you have no size restrictions. Many places, of course, certain cases you have size restriction. RFID tags may be either active or passive. Active tags actively transmit data to the reader. Because passive tags, okay, therefore just for the identity, and they can be activated when there is a RF field around. But there are active tags, they will have battery backup, and they will be showing their position and location. Passive tags drop power from the magnetic field, as I told you, and generated between itself and reader. So when the passive tags are not in the vicinity of any radio frequency field, it is as good as a tag. But as soon as they come into the magnetic field, they start generating power through RF field and start transmitting their identity. In order to communication to occur between tag and a reader, both must be turned to the same frequency. So remember, always receiver and transmitter in such case must be tuned to same frequency. Next, please. Next slide. When RFID tag passes through the electromagnetic zone, it detects the reader's activation signal. The reader decodes the data encoded in the tag's integrated circuit, that is silicon chip, and the data is passed to the host computer for processing. Middleware, that is software, middleware is the interface needed between interrogator and the existing company database. So software also plays a very important role. Selection of the software, writing the software, detecting the bugs, all those are intellectual property of the company and also the service provider. Next. So you will ask me what are the frequencies used for this RFID? 125 to 134 kilohertz or lower frequency, that is called LF. 13.56 megahertz is a high frequency. So you know 13.56 megahertz is NIB, non-interference basis. Its harmonics doesn't interfere with anyone. That's why this frequency is allowed worldwide for various applications. It can go for plasma generation, high power radio frequency generation. So this frequency is used for this tag. 433, 869, 915 megahertz is a ultra high frequency, that is UHF frequency. 2.45, 5.8 gigahertz is a microwave frequency. So these are some of the frequencies allotted to RFID for its function, because the various frequencies are utilized because of the distance, the data. Because higher the distance, lesser the data can be transmitted. Lower the distance, higher the data can be transmitted. So there are limitations for distance and frequency, and you have to use the right frequency according to your data, how much data you want to transmit. Next slide. RFID standards, two major organizations creating standards for RFID use, ISO and EPC Global. So there are two standards adopted by RFID users. ISO stands for RFID. ISO standards are for RFID, for parallel tracking, seals, item tracking, etc. So normally for the departmental stores, okay, pallet tracking in industry, seals, especially for the bottles or for various products, are used ISO standard. EPC Global, a combination of EAN International and Universal Code Council, that is UCC, is developed a standard for the electronic product code, that is EPC. EPC will define the standards for tags, readers, and data formats. EPC to cover worldwide software and network architecture. So EPC will be more in use nowadays, henceforth, because more and more complex systems are entering into the country, right from the toll naka to our departmental store. There, the paper tags also, paper RFID tags also will be utilized. So if you are going to a departmental store like DMart or Big Basket, all the items you can put it in the cart and just go nearby the counter. He will not count, he will not do anything. Just have your trolley a second or two there. All the bill will be made, because RFID reader will read all the items, then tags, and make a bill immediately. So you need not have to wait. Today, if you find your purchasing takes half an hour, and many times you have to wait for 40-45 minutes in the queue to create the bill. So for that, they have to open number of counters. That can be reduced. Number of counters can be reduced, and thus you have to walk away. Your bill will be made. Just pay the bill at the same counter from your card, and immediately money will be deducted from your business card or your credit card or debit card. So this is going to play a vital role in our life very shortly. Most of the departmental stores will be equipped with paper tags, and those tags can be thrown away. They will be very cheap tags, so no need of recovering or reusing them. Next slide, please. No need for a line of sight tag. If you see advantages of RFID tag, no need of line of sight. It can be anywhere. It can be across the wall also. Tag can be used in harsh environments also. Noisy environment, harsh environment, temperature, humidity. Speed RFID allows the rapid segregation and data transfer between reader and population of tags. So this is another advantage that you can have. I gave you example of a basket from department store. So there will be complex positioning of the most of the tags, but it will be read and give you the bill. Tags can be hidden in most of the materials. You can see in the, for avoiding the theft, most of the departmental use these tags. And the moment you pass through the main door, there is an alarm. If you are carrying something, without billing. Because at the time of billing, RFID tags are removed by a special tool. You cannot remove it so easily. Tags can be hidden in most of the materials also. No battery is needed because they are all passive tags. Moment you enter the magnetic field, they will be active and the data handshaking will start. They are available in different shapes and sizes. So you will hardly come to know whether this is a RFID tag or just a toy or just a showpiece. Different shapes and sizes, no wear and tear because this is a sealed one. IC is embedded inside, antenna and IC. So there will not be a wear and tear. So they can be reused very easily. Alternate permanent serial code to previous tampering. So you can have always an alterable permanent serial code to avoid any theft or duplication. Next slide, please. Now we will go to some myths and reality on RFID technology. Let's start. Main consents in RFID. RFID implementation. So the RFID myths and reality, please read this very carefully. We are comparing here with barcode. So read per second will be 40 plus. 40 plus item can be, we can read per second. In case of barcode, you have to put the scanner across the barcode. So hardly one or two devices, rather one or two boxes can be checked. Range will be up to 300 feet. As far as barcode is concerned, maximum height achieved till date is 15 feet. Line of sight required? No. As far as barcode is concerned, it should be visible. Read and write? Yes, this can read and write as far as RFID is concerned. But no in case of barcode because it is a printed code. Human intervention, very less. But in case of barcode, can be tampered. So some people can change the barcode and make it less price and try to steal it, or it can be manipulated. Cost, of course, RFID is more. Barcode is the cheapest today. But friends, now people are working very hard on reducing the cost of the RFID. They have come out with the RFID tags, paper tags, which are inexpensive. Ruggedness, of course, is more. As far as paper is concerned, it is less. By hand or grease or something, they can be invisible and reading will be very difficult. Sometimes you must have noticed in departmental stores, certain items cannot be scanned. That is the reason if they are tampered or not clearly visible. Reusability, as far as RFID is concerned, is more. Barcode is less. Labor cost, of course, is less for the RFID tag, and it is quite high for the barcode because you have to stick it, and it is a consumable. Every time you have to consume the paper, sticking paper, you have to consume, and it cannot be reused. So, nutshell, if you see this slide carefully, you will find in the long run, RFID sensors will be very, very cost effective. Next slide. The reality, the myth is RFID readers are not reliable or powerful enough to meet current industry demands. The reality is RFID sensor technology is developing a phenomenal rate. There are readers designed for the post-pushing environments that can read tags accurately at a distance of several meters. So long distance are being developed, and you can see the present toll tax collection. It's quite a distance, and moving car can be detected. Technology is promising extend distance still further because there are a lot of research happening today, and you can expect more and more distance in near future. Scanner designers are constantly finding new ways to overcome challenges such as reading moving tags accurately. So, lot of design work, and there is a lot of scope for you, all the faculties, that you can have some projects and you can take the problem of the current problem of the industry and work on it. I'm sure with your knowledge, experience, and the fresh students, you will be able to achieve certain results which will be which will be in demand as far as industry is concerned. So note a exercise that you can always think of starting a project in RFID. Next. RFID readers are not reliable or powerful enough to meet current industry demands. I think next slide, please. We have finished these slides. RFID tags do not work around metal objects. This is one of the myths. Now, reality is metal can shield or detune a radio signal, but as long as you take special care to choose, position, and shield the tag, this problem can overcome. So, it's a myth. For example, ferrous material built into the tag encapsulation can shield the radio signal from the effects of metal. So, there is a problem, always a solution. Although there are some challenges, a practical solution is usually possible. So, this could be another exercise for the students that try to understand this problem and work on the solution. Next. You can't use RFID tags in liquids. Most radio frequencies slow down and shrink when forced to travel through liquids. However, you can generally get over this problem by choosing your tag and design of the antenna carefully. So, this is also another project and challenge when you are using RFID tags in the liquids. A project, students can derive a project out of this. Try to understand the industry problem and find solution on this with the help of faculty. Next slide. I think my presentation is putting more challenges on faculty today, and I think it's good that you can focus on industry related issues, and once you develop expertise, you will be able to create expertise in around surrounding industry, and they will always come to you for guidance. Implementing RFID does not instantly guarantee a fast patch to return or investment, ROI, that is return on investment. The decision to implement RFID must be linked to a definitive business goal, of course. Unless you have a business goal, you should not go for RFID, and you should have a very clear vision about the business, because if you make a single mistake, your own money will be destroyed. The promise of achieving greater return on investment with RFID is not time sensitive as many believe. It is application dependent. Please note this. A promise of achieving greater return on investment with RFID is not time sensitive. It can take more time or less time, as many believe, but it is application dependent. So you have to choose the application properly, and you have to always check whether application that you have selected right one or not. Otherwise, your whole exercise will go into the waste. So initial study, initial homework is most important working with RFID tags as far as any proposal or any business idea is concerned. Next slide. Reality, incorporation of RFID will necessarily a new book existing business processes. Incorporation of RFID will necessarily a new look at the existing business processes. So this is an opportunity again, once again, I will say. Companies will be forced to revisit their standard practices if they expect to gain new efficiencies. So this is another area you can visit nearby industry, see their processes. And if you think that RFID can be implemented here, suggest them proper solution. There is a good business opportunity for your college. And I think COVID has taught quite a lot. So you have to start this earning activity also as far as college is concerned. And once you have this kind of a sale, probably a lot of knowledge and interactions can come. And you could be a solution provider like what happens in Europe and US. Most of the universities, they have a cell and they consult industry, and most of the research, critical research happen in the universities. companies will be forced to revisit their standard practices if they are really facing issues, and RFID could be one of the solutions. As I said, we'll need to ensure that there is a high level of compatibility in the integration of RFID within the facility. How the physical layout is organized, how labor is deployed, and even how the equipment itself is constructed. So friends, I think you must be finding a lot of opportunities in my presentation. I already shared this presentation with the college, so you can read again and see where you can take up the projects. There will be experts available, industry experts available for you, guiding the problems of the industry, as well as acceptable solutions can be converted into money. Adoption of RFID won't require a facility, equipment, and process changes. Reality is incorporation of RFID will necessarily be a new look at the existing business process. Companies will be forced to revisit their standard practices if they gain new efficiencies. Now, next slide, please. Yeah, consistently reading energy tag ID on a pallet is easy. Myth is consistently reading every tag ID on a pallet is easy. Reality, while using RFID tag beats scanning, it is not foolproof. Repeat. While using RFID tags beats scanning, it is not foolproof. So you have to make sure how you can make it foolproof. So many variables can interface with accurate and reliable read rates, includes the size of the boxes, the number of cases, travel speed, type of tags, tag placement, reader antenna placement, and even the product mix itself. Remember, unless you have a foolproof tagging, rather foolproof utilization of the RFID, it's of no use. Rather, on such business proposition, you will gain losses. Next slide. All RFID tags are the same. Truth is, all RFID tags are not created equally. Please remember, all the RFID tags are not created equally. There are different type of tags for different applications, depending on environmental where RFID will be applied. Phenomenal pharmaceutical, food, and hospital RFID applications, for example, require a pristine and sanitary coordination, sanitary conditions that are vastly different from use of RFID in an automotive factory or steel plant. So, if it is a clinical application, medical application, you need to have a different kind of RFID, specially designed and developed for that application. For example, that patch we saw is also a kind of RFID. So you need to select the proper one, how much distance your mobile will have from the RFID or receiving device, and accordingly you have to select. Next slide, please. Passive RFID tags can read, write, or a distance up to 10 meters. Reality is there is no such thing in a small and low cost passive RFID tag that can read, write, or long range further than 1 meter. See, this applies for up to 1 meter. Passive RFID tags can read, write at a distance. Up to 1 meter is okay, not 10 meter, because for 10 meter RFID tag, you need to have a special. This statement is completely untrue, as passive RFID tags operate on induction coupling, which requires them to be near the interrogator. See, if you see the attendance RFID card, but always take your card to the reader very closely, and when the beep comes, you know that you have been attended or your attendance is marked. So that card vicinity, if you see, it is just few centimeters. You just can't put it in the air and it will read. So you have to study the application and accordingly select the RFID, because the cost is involved. If you want a 5 centimeter, the cost will be 10 times for the same tag. So maximum distance for passive RFID tags is 1 meter in ideal conditions and 4 to 6 meter in specially built long range tags, antennas and readers. So always remember, up to 1 meter cost variation will not be there as far as receiver and RFID tag is concerned, but definitely when you need a long range, like what I told you, that I have a challenge now to create RFID tags for a marathon race. Okay, and there will be 600 students participating. I can't use ordinary tag. I have to use the specially developed tags for such applications. Next slide, please. Myth. RFID tags label cost only penny per tag. RFID labels cost only pennies per tag, or passive RFID tags cost as low as 5 cents, or you can say 5 rupees, nothing. But reality, in sometimes it comes out with a tag that costs 5 cents in the next 5 years. It will probably be based on another technology which can reduce. With current technology, people should not expect an integrated circuit manufactured, tested, and attached to an alternating antenna at that price. So, friends, the prices of such things are definitely coming down, no doubt, because of the new technologies are emerging. And I'm sure the cost will definitely come down and it will be affordable, because there are many products which were not affordable, so the technologies could not penetrate. But now with the research that is happening in RFID, definitely it will cost you a peanut. It will take volumes in billions for that to become a reality. So once you have the volumes, the prices will come down. That we have seen in mobile phones. So when the mobile phones were launched, they were costing up to 35,000 ordinary mobile. Now you get very good, fairly good mobile, 8 to 10,000 rupees. Next slide. It is RFID can tell me exactly where my products are in a waterhouse. RFID is not a global positioning system. Please note. RFID definitely cannot be a global positioning system. It does not pinpoint the location of a product along pre-programmed grid to give the exact rack or row where a specific lot of product is located. It can tell you that the product is in the warehouse and with some special programming in which zone, but not exact location, especially for material stores or raw material store. It cannot identify the particular location. It can tell you the row, in this row it is there. So please make a note, because it cannot be used with the global positioning system as of now. Tomorrow the technology may come if there is a big demand from industry. Next slide, please. Barcodes can do what we need. We don't need RFID. Reality, barcodes and RFID will be able to and must coexist. Both the technologies are needed. Nobody will, barcode will not distinguish, because they have their own area of application. The amount of data that needs to be gathered and how often it needs to change decides barcode or RFID. Because I told you in the beginning that if the data is quite high, the distance automatically reduces. That doesn't happen in barcode. Barcode can be read from 10 to 15 feet also. A range and speed at which the product is to be scanned is very, very important. Can a person keep up with the required scan speed or barcodes? So always remember, both the technologies, RFID and barcodes, they exist and they will exist because they have their own merits. The environment where the tags will be used, that you should always remember, depends upon where the tags will be used, and environment will play a very, very vital role. Next slide, please. Another myth, RFID can eliminate the need of manual intervention in data. The reality is full automation via fixed sensors and conveyors is possible once you have full automation. But unless there are readers on the racks where the product is put anyway, human intervention is required to assign items, containers to a specific inventory location. Likewise, if any information about the product is in a container changes, such as quantity, human intervention is again required. So it can be in the container, but if there is any change, then human intervention is required. So 100% you cannot say autopilot or driverless car. Is a good to see and visualize, but you cannot avoid a pilot in aircraft. Even though it is on the auto mode, pilot may be relaxing or doing something, but his one eye will be always on the control seat and the functioning of the aircraft. So like that, human intervention is necessarily required. But yes, that will reduce the manpower required for that. Next slide. Now, I have finished my presentation on RFID, and time is 11:17. So I have very less time for discussing on software-defined radio. Of course, we'll be watching one video that will make a lot of clarity, because as far as receiver part is concerned, you have no size restriction. Many cases. I am not talking about every case. So software-defined radio is a radio communication system where components that have been traditionally implemented in hardware are instead implemented by a means of software or a personal computer or a embedded system. See, I have grown up my childhood in super heterodyne radio. My company Philips India is still manufacturing radio receivers, and they are all analog radio receivers. So it's a super heterodyne receiver. So we have a local oscillator, we have a gang capacitor for tuning, we have a IF amplifier, we have a detector and amplifier. So I don't know whether you all have studied simple super heterodyne receiver now, which is replaced with a digital receiver or software defined radio, and which are come in the market, not for the entertainment field because today costs are very high, but for the radio communication. Most of the trans receivers are SDR. Last year I purchased ICOM made, it's a Japan make IC7300 model, which is 100% SDR trans receiver, and the clarity and facilities are phenomenal. So I, being a radio ham, also wants to update myself in the latest technology. So I bought that, and it has got a fantastic facilities. And it is totally unmatched with the analog rig, because I also have analog rig which is 30 years old. Of course, performance both are giving very good, but the kind of features that I get in digital and SDR are phenomenal. And most of the now radios used in military are SDR. I'm very proud to share with you the trans receivers for Indian Navy SDR base is developed in Pune by one of the defense electronic person, and we will be having his presentation on Radio Day, that is 13th of February. We celebrate every year Radio Day. So software defined radio is one of our activity, and we have started working on the various designs and cost effective designs. So this is another separate topic for discussion, but we will visit this and then I will end my presentation. So next slide, please. So this is how a training kit for the software design looks. Next. This is a block diagram for the SDR radio. So front end could be the same, but there will be ADC and DSC. We also have a FPGA and digital signal processing, then software digital signal processing, and go to the higher layers, that is for audio amplifier and other things. So the in middle processing is done digitally. So no tuning circuits are required here, no coils, nothing. This is all digitally processed. That is one thing that very easy to build a software defined radio, because there are less tuning circuits. Next slide, please. Most of the earlier designs were based on SCR variety, that is software controlled radio. Major functions of the device are implemented in hardware with dedicated microcontroller with DSP. SCR devices are generally at fixed function. Next slide. Next slide, please. In contrast, SCR and SDR is generic hardware platform. After digital conversion, further multiplication is done exclusively in software. So basically, you all aware that software has played a very vital role in electronics, and combination of hardware and software is really fantastic. Next slide. Yeah, so this could be a small comparison for SDR based communication. Software and see, if you see digital design flexibility, there is, yes, there's a lot of design flexibility. Conventional communication, absolutely no. Reliability, yes, 100% in software defined, and not completely because of hardware, because you cannot change the hardware so easily. Design and time flow, it is faster because of the software, and design time flow is not at all possible in the hardware radio. Upgradability is easily done due to software. Upgradability not at all possible in the rather design this super heterodyne radios. Reusability, yes, it can be reused, and the this hardware based conventional radio has only made for specific purpose. Reconfigurability, yes, possible. Once the important feature of SDR is one of the important feature of SDR is reconfigurability, but hardware based radio cannot be reconfigured. So there is a vast difference between our conventional radio used for communication and software defined radio. Next slide. I have hardly 5 minutes left, sir. So we will go to the video after this slide. Hence, SDR can be thought of as combination of little hardware and major portion of software. SDR hardware portion is called Universal Software Radio Peripheral. It serves a digital based band and IF section of radio communication. So I think less time has left. So we will play the video because we have recently purchased one dongle. It is available in the market for $10 and connected to the laptop with the software. And I will demonstrate how to connect the antennas and how to play the radio. So here we will be playing conventional FM, medium wave, and also we will be playing FM radio on that radio. So let's switch to the video of software defined dongle, SDR dongle. You all can look for such dongle on the net. This covers entire VHF, HF as well as VHF range. That is from 1000 kilocycles to 550 kilocycles to 1.5 gigahertz. So let's switch to the video, sir. Please switch on my next video. This is specifically developed for you all, and I appeal you all to do such experiment in your spare time in college, and definitely there will be interest among students. So let's start this RTL SDR dongle. The range is 1.7 up to 1.7 gigahertz, 100 kilocycles. So it's a linear based system.
Hello friends, we are going to see how we can connect an RTL SDR dongle to our laptop. So right now we are using RTL SDR V2 dongle. This is capable of receiving VHF, UHF frequencies as well as HF frequencies. And the range for receiving frequency is 100 kilohertz to 1.7 gigahertz. So in between these frequencies, you can receive any frequency with the help of your laptop. And this is a USB dongle. So one side you will see a USB port, and this is a USB cable. So we will connect this USB cable to a dongle. This is V2 receive only USB dongle, and the other side we will connect it to a laptop with a USB port. So, and with this RTL SDR V2, we have two ports here. one is for UHF and one is for HF. UHF port is basically, both ports are SMA. For a UHF port, you can receive VHF and UHF frequencies, and for HF frequencies, the port is different, so you have to connect the HF antenna. So for UHF port, we are going to use small dual band antenna. This is wide band antenna, and this has a SMA port connected to it. So we are going to put it the SMA port to VHF UHF receive part. The other part is for HF. So I have an end-fed antenna. So this is coax, which is connecting the end-fed antenna with SO239 port. So we need an adapter so that we can convert it to SMA, because we have an SMA connector here. So we'll connect an adapter here. And then adapter we can connect to our HF port. Okay. So now our setup is ready. We have for VHF, UHF, we are going to use this antenna. This is a wide band antenna. And for HF, we are going to use an end-fed antenna, which is connected outside. So that is, and the USB other side is connected, USB is connected to our laptop. Right now we are using a Linux laptop, and we will be using a GQRX software, which is an SDR receiver software, and we will see how you can receive with GQRX.
We are connecting you to the VHF. So we'll connect to Pune Vivid Bharati, which is at 101 megahertz. Yeah, this is Vivid Bharati. You can receive FM quality music. Here frequency varies according to the intelligence, because this is a frequency modulation. Let's change the frequency now. We'll go to the medium wave and try to listen. That is in kilohertz, 761 kilohertz, I think. Pune is a DRM station. It's a digital radio monitoring, and it's a simulcast transmission. So here it will be visible. The DRM signal will be quite visible here, which is only available today in car radios or car stereos. Conventionally, the radio costs 15,000 rupees, so it is not being used by the common people. So now we will switch over to the medium wave signal, and it's a simulcast DRM. Pune is broadcasting digital radio monitoring, and you can see on medium wave you get a very good reception. So we are going to the high frequency mode now. So there are settings needed on the dongle, which you can easily do. So we will tune this radio to Pune radio frequency. .783 kilohertz we have tuned right now. So it's a digital radio modem, not just the AM broadcasting. It has a digital signal which will be decoded, and you can definitely see.
Vivekananda expressed this very boldly and proudly.
So 792.2 kilohertz is the center frequency.
That had been living and breathing for
You can see both
centuries.
the bands, side bands.
Referring to Swami Vivekananda's letter to the
Unfortunately, it is a
Maharaja of
message. It is
Mysore
a
and to Swami
it's a news item.
Ramakrishnanand, the
But
Prime
if it is a
Minister's
music
response
program,
to clear
you
faults
can notice
in
a quality
Swamiji's
difference
approach to empowering the
when
poor.
you tune to
First,
DRM.
he wanted empowerment to be taken to
Digital
the
radio
poor
modem.
if the poor themselves cannot easily go to empowerment. Second, Swamiji said, India's poor have to be given ideas, their eyes are to be opened to
While
what is
recording,
going on
we
in the
could get
world
the
around them,
news
and then they will
because
work
time
out
was very
their own
short. We
salvation.
wanted to demonstrate the
Mr.
music
Modi
one.
asserted that this is
And
the
definitely
approach
you will
with
find
which
the quality
India is
difference.
moving ahead today. He said banks must reach the poor, and that is what the Jan Dhan Yojana did. So did Jan
So this is a beauty of digital dongle. You can experiment, easily available in the market. We are trying our ham band, but it is dead. It is 14.4. 14 megahertz is our radio ham frequency. But when we were recording it, the band was totally dead because of the solar cycle low. We are getting no reflections from the ionosphere these days. You can try some. I think I have passed 3 minutes, but okay. Sorry for that little delay, 4 minutes delay from my side in the morning.
यातायात तथा ढुवानी मन्त्रालयबाट प्राप्त तथ्याङ्क अनुसार सन्
So we are tuned
2021 को
to
वसन्तचाडको
7.2
अवधिमा
megahertz now.
पुर्याइने यात्रुहरूको संख्या 1 अर्ब 15 करोड 20 लाख पुग्ने अनुमान गरिएको छ जुन सन् 2020 को तुलनामा 20%
So you can receive shortwave so clear.
भारतीय प्रधानमंत्री नरेंद्र मोदी ने 30 जनवरी को कहा कि उनकी सरकार का प्रस्ताव 3 विवादास्पद कृषि कानून
后方对老对他
All
们
the
的
yellow
支持也
band
很好的，
they are all
看着项目完成了
megahertz.
我们的付出，还有老公的辛苦
Whenever
是
you want
值
to
得的。
receive the
国外展现了我们中国
not available on
品质的
radio.
良好
Always
形象吧。
use it.
以色列海法新梗项目于2018年7月。
So this is how the SDR dongle can be utilized for receiving variable signal because they are visible. You can detect it so easily. Yellow, this is a waterfall diagram, and all the yellow patches that you see, they are all radio stations and signals. So whenever you want to detect unidentified signal, you can always do so. So friends, thank you very much for watching this video, both the videos in my presentation. My presentation is over. In case you have any queries, I am there to answer. I have already shared my presentation and both the videos with the college. So those who are interested can always borrow and see. There is no copyright. It is all available, shareable. Thank you all.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for your wonderful session. Now it's time to ask the question from the participants. If participants has any questions, we can ask. If any participant has a question, please ask the question. In chat box also there is no any question.
Okay. So you can always write to me because this is all I could do because of my ham radio hobby. I'll suggest your college principal to start a ham radio club so that a lot of experimentation can happen in your college. Allot a separate room full of tools and students can come there, keep it 24/7 open. So a lot of experiments students will conduct because they are all young blood, bubbling with enthusiasm. Somebody needs to guide. They can come there and make a start of the ham radioactivity, so that you will find all such experiments and gizmos being handled by students as well as faculty, because faculty also will create interest handling such things. So I always believe learning is always through experiments and handling the various devices, not on the blackboard, not in the books or not in the notebooks. Start working something in the laboratories. You have very good laboratories in the college. Try to utilize them maximum. You have also very good equipments in the lab. Make sure that they are utilized practically every day. Thank you very much.
Yes, sir. Surely I will come back to you again, sir, related to this. Any participant has any question? Okay. Now we will move towards concluding this session. Now I request Neeta Kulkarni, madam.
Yes,
Neeta,
sir.
madam.
Yes, sir. Am I audible?
Neeta Kulkarni, madam. Yes, you are audible. Please give word of thanks to the sir.
Okay. Thank you, Matpati, sir. Good morning to Honorable Rabde, sir, and respected participants. I, Neeta Kulkarni, working as an assistant professor in ENTC department in Sweris College of Engineering, Pandarpur. I am here to propose the vote of thanks for this session. On the behalf of ENTC department, I give really heartfelt vote of thanks to our today's keynote speaker, Honorable Rabde, sir, for guiding us on the topic flexible antenna development and SDR signal detection. In this session, sir has guided us in detail in different areas, which mainly includes RFID tag, wearable devices, and specific devices related to COVID-19 situation. Also, whatever the videos sir has shared with us, those are very useful to understand the concepts properly. Thank you very much, sir, for giving us this practical and theoretical information, which will be really a good guideline for the research work in this field. I am equally thankful to all the participants for their participation. Thank you one and all once again. Thank you. Over to you, Matpati, sir.
Thank you, Neeta, madam. Thank you, Rabde, sir, once again for accepting our invitation and giving your valuable time to share your views with our participants. So I would like to thank from Department of Electronics and Telecommunication, Sweris College of Engineering, Pandarpur. And now it's a break of 15 minutes. Like we will have a 15-minute break, and again we will rejoin again at 11:45, or almost like it is 11:10. So 10 minutes, like we will reduce the break. 10 minutes at 11:50, we will start the session again.